Everybody, such a beautiful day. Chapter 5 is entitled The Sunglasses, so I figured we'd read outside today. This morning, something very funny happened to Gordon. At least Paulo and I thought it was funny, and so did my mom. Gordon didn't think it was funny at all. Here's what happened. You be the judge. Gordon's parents had bought him a really cool pair of sunglasses, and not just cheap kitty ones either. These were the real deal. They had very dark lenses and were very expensive. Naturally, Gordon wanted to show them off to Paulo and me. And so Paulo and I were waiting in my backyard for Gordon to show up and start bragging. I wanted my mom to see the sunglasses so I could start bugging her for a pair too. I figured it was never too soon. To start pestering your parents for something you really wanted. I knew she would cave in after a couple of weeks of sincere begging. Paulo showed up right on time, but Gordon was late. This was odd because Gordon was almost never late, especially when he had a chance to show off. An hour went by with no sign of Gordon. After another 30 minutes passed, Paulo and I decided that Gordon must be in a serious bike accident and was laying in a ditch unconscious and bleeding. We thought that we'd better just get our bikes and go looking for him. Just as we were about to bike off, my mom announced that lunch was ready. Well, first thing after lunch, we would go look for Gordon. As Paulo and I started in on our second helping of blueberry pie, Gordon knocked on the door. My mom opened it. "Gordon," I said through a mouthful of pie, "you're late." We were really worried. "What happened to you?" asked Paulo, noticing the strange look on Gordon's face as if something bad had just happened. "Where are your new sunglasses?" I added. Gordon reached into his back pocket and handed me a case containing the new sunglasses. "Here," he said woefully. "They're all yours. I don't want them anymore." He shuddered deeply. "I'll never wear sunglasses again as long as I live." "Why? What happened?" asked Paulo curiously. Gordon sat down at our kitchen table. "Oh, it was horrible. Just horrible," he said, staring blankly into space. "Gordon, what happened?" I asked, beginning to get a little bit alarmed. "Oh, the horror," he moaned dramatically. "Gordon, what happened?" shouted my mum, snapping Gordon out of his trance. My mum enjoyed a good Gordon story as much as the rest of us. We all sat on the edge of our seats, anxious to hear what trouble Gordon had got himself into this time. "Well," began Gordon, taking a deep breath. "A couple of hours ago, I left my house to come over here to show you my new sunglasses. About 2 blocks from home, I came across this man laying on the sidewalk. He was blind and I could tell he was injured. His seeing eye dog was sitting beside him. Naturally, I asked if he needed help. He moaned and said that he had been on his way to deliver a package. There was a box laying near him. He had tripped on a loose piece of sidewalk and his ankle looked pretty swollen. "Do you want me to call an ambulance?" I asked, all concerned. "No," he said, pointing up the street. "I just live over there. If you could help me home, I'll put some ice on my ankle, and if it doesn't get any better, I'll call my doctor." Gordon stopped for a deep breath and then continued. So I picked up the man's package and helped him to his feet. His dog stayed real close and guided us to his house. When we got to his front door, he said, "Thanks a lot, young man. I'll be okay from here. But can I ask you for one more small favor?" "Sure," I said. "How can I help?" "Well, I was wondering if you could deliver this package for me. The address is on the front and it's not too far from here." "No problem," I said. "I'd be happy to." "Oh, just one more thing," he added as I was turning to go. "Would you mind taking my dog for some exercise? I won't be able to walk him for a while with this ankle and he needs regular exercise. His name's Jake," he said. He thrust the harness in my direction and so I said, "Sure, no problem. Come on, Jake." We set off. I never imagined how it must have looked. Me in my dark sunglasses walking a seeing eye dog. Anyway, 15 minutes later I found the house and rang the doorbell, but there was no answer. I rang it again, but still there was no answer. I couldn't see a mailbox to put the package into, so I rang the doorbell one more time. This time, a window on the second floor opened, and this really old lady stuck her head out and yelled, "Oh, there you are. I was just in the shower. I'll be right down." She was at the door within seconds, and then it happened. Gordon shuddered again. "Go on," urged my mom. Well, the door flew open, and there stood the old lady, wearing nothing but her birthday suit. That's when it hit me. She thought I was blind. Well, before I knew what was happening, she grabbed me by the wrist and pulled me and Jake into the house, gushing all over me. "Oh, you poor thing. They said a blind man was going to deliver this package, but you're just a boy. On and on she went. Well, I didn't dare take off my sunglasses or tell her the truth. I just kept my eyes scrunched up so tight they hurt. I bumped into things, but that just made it more believable. She insisted on making me sit down at the kitchen table and eat lunch. I spent the last hour and a half with somebody's 90-year-old naked grandmother. Paulo, my mum, and I shrieked with laughter. Gordon stared at the floor, shaking his head. An hour and a half with my eyes clenched shut for dear life, he murmured. I couldn't wait to get out of there. I swear, I'll never wear sunglasses again. And that concludes chapter 5.